Hello, welcome to this your channel of the better Eurofan. Text me. This time we start a new series, discovering one by one the artists that will participate in the next edition of the contest, which will be held on Liverpool in the United Kingdom, on behalf of Ukraine as the winning country of the last edition. And casually, it's the turn of the reigning champion of this edition, starting officially the Eurovision season this time, after celebrating an historical victory in this year's contest for the guys of Kalush Orchestra. There's curiosity on who will take the baton from the hip-hop group, being already a finalist, as for very well-known reasons it is not possible to have the contest on Ukrainian soil. Now we will take a look at the chosen artists this time to carry the Ukrainian colors on the main stage of Liverpool. Here we go. For today's episode, I'm going to review the Ukrainian entry for Eurovision 2023, which will be represented by duo Tvorchi with the song Heart of Steel. First of all, we are going to check out their profile and career before their journey into the contest. Tvorchi is an Ukrainian electronic duo formed in the city of Ternopil on western Ukraine. It's composed in this case by musical producer Andriy Hutsuliak and Nigerian vocalist Jimo Kahinde, while the name of the duo is the romanization of the word Tvorchi, which means creative. They get to know each other very spontaneously, with Andriy approaching to Jimo on the street to practice his English skills talking to him. Casually by then they were studying pharmacy after Ternopil National Medical University, and shortly after getting on each other they will leave their studies to pursue a musical project together. They start their musical career in 2017, having released 4 studio albums to date, with compositions in English and Ukrainian, achieving a modest success in the Ukrainian musical scene and participating regularly in electronic music festivals in both Ukraine and neighboring Poland. They went on to participate in 2020 in the well-known Ukrainian national final Big Beer, placing 4th at time, having won in that occasion the electronic folk band Go Away, representing Ukraine finally in 2021 after being cancelled the edition in 2020 to be held in Rotterdam because of the COVID-19 pandemic, as we already know. They will not take too long, however, on recharging energies and try again attempting to represent the country on Eurovision. Now we will see how the Eurovision experience begins for them. Following the trend of previous years, the Ukrainian public broadcaster will organize what it went to be the 7th edition of their national final Big Beer to pick the Ukrainian representative for the contest. For this time, the selection process for the contestants will be made in 2 phases. In the first phase, a submission period was open between mid-August and mid-October for Ukrainian artists and songwriters to send their proposals. As long as they have not performed in Russia since 2014, they must have not entered the Crimea without the permission of the Ukrainian authorities, and the Russian language is not allowed in the composition of the song. By the deadline, it was known that the broadcaster received a total of 384 entries, a huge increase compared to the last edition, longlisting them to 36 artists, revealed shortly a few days after the deadline. In the second phase, the long-listed artists will participate in live auditions, in which the 10 artists that will compete in the national final will be selected, announcing them last month being Tvorchi among the selected artists. In the televised show that took place in the middle of this month, the winner will be determined with a combination of the votes of the jury and the public, remarking in this case that the jury members were previously chosen by the public using an online voting. At first, the guys of Tvorchi were underdogs in the competition, but after the performances of all the finalists, the voting results revealed that the duo was the absolute favorite from the public, while it was the second most voted artist by the jury, winning the national final by surprise, and gaining after 2 attempts to try to represent Ukraine on the main stage of Liverpool. an encouraging message with a warning amidst the warfare that is still ongoing in the country. Now here comes the analysis according to what they have presented in their proposal. As expected, the song is an electronic music track, although using a darker sound matching with the topic described in the lyrics. Jimo's voice is quite current in this case with nothing else to remark. According to the duo, the song was written during last spring, when the siege of Mariupol took place, and in particular to the steel and iron works in Azovstal. Andriy has commented in an interview that he started to compose it after watching videos of the Ukrainian army defending the iron and steel works, being the main inspiration for the song. Reading the lyrics in detail, there are frustration and empowerment feelings. The first verse and the chorus talk about how difficult it is to explain how it feels when the circumstances are against the odds, referring in this case to a fight, or much properly, to a war. But despite of it, they have the determination and the courage to not surrender and keep fighting, showing an unbreakable and tough will as steel, alleging to the song's title. This also reminds me of part of the chorus of the Ukrainian entry in the junior contest which took place a short time ago. The second verse, in the other hand, it has a hidden argument that is not perceived at first, but after they have commented that the song was about the dangers of nuclear warfare, analyzing the current facts nowadays, it has total sense. Having said all this, the message of the song is quite implicit just by reading the lyrics. Having reviewed the song, now I'm going to analyze the official music video released for this proposal. The plot has a darker theme in accordance with the lyrics in this case. There is an open space with a big rectangular LED screen on the floor, in which they are seeing in a dark and light event. Jimo starts to perform the first verse, while there are alternate shots of him and Andriy with red lines and backgrounds. By the first chorus, alternate shots of them are still seen, while some footage is seen on the LED screens and the visual effects, with burning lava, lightning storms striking, and a dense smoke. From the second verse, many Ukrainian words are seen in the LED screen, among these ones Volia, which means will, Yadnis, which means unity, Pedanis, which means devotion, and Peremoja, which means victory, while the same visual graphics are still seen in both the LED screens and the visual effects. Moreover, there are more words and phrases in Ukrainian too, like Saleves Serce, which means heart of steel, just as the song's title, Sila, which means strength, Neskoranis, which means incredibility, Mineslamni, which means we are indestructible, and Hradu Shoberabate, which means I play for the win. In the second and last chorus, they are in front of the left screen when they see an explosion, and suddenly burner ashes start to fall in the area as a tangible consequence of that explosion, which evidently makes allusion to the missiles exploding during the attacks and the rubble that remains. Towards the end of the music video, they walk to the LED screen, simulating they are going to a portal from the reality to the afterlife, closing the performance. Making a summary of all the comments, the Ukrainian entry for this year is quite dark. Personally, I'm not sure if a song referred once again to the warfare in the country will convince to the audience. As I have commented in the previous episode, as long as the war continues, there is no doubt many of the Ukrainian songs will have this background, and once again, it can generate side effects towards the proposal. Recalling the staging in the national final, the performance was focused on them on the stage, being Andriy aside while Jimo was at the center, surrounded by square screens. They wore in this case outfits quite similar to hazmat suits, designed to protect the body against hazardous materials and toxic environments, like a radioactive explosion for example, with Andriy wearing a black one and Jimo wearing a yellow one. At the beginning, the visual graphics were showing Jimo. Then later in the first chorus, there was shown footage of people putting on gas masks. With the second verse, two dancers appear next to Jimo, using outfits similar to them and also wearing gas masks. They start playing and dribbling with radioactive balls, transmitting a very serious background, and later they perform a dance routine with R&B steps. Towards the second and last chorus, the visual graphics went on to show yellow and red backgrounds, and later all the screens were filled with radioactive symbols strike truth in red, finishing the performance with the colors of the Ukrainian flag. This staging has a very deep meaning, as they have commented, alleging precisely to the purpose of the Eurovision Song Contest when it was created, to unite Europe after the devastation of the World War II, which know the impact of nuclear weapons. And today, while some are playing with nuclear threats, people in Ukraine with steel hearts are protecting all of Europe. For the staging in Liverpool, probably they will follow the same trend seen in both the music video and the national final, so it's expected a dramatic performance, plenty of symbolism, with direct and indirect references to the war between Russia and Ukraine. The contest is still months away, so it will be a matter of time until we can see the final result for this proposal. And you, what do you think about the Ukrainian entry for next year? Leave your comments here down below as usual, and then we can start some discussion. And this is it for today's episode. If you have come to the end of this video, I invite you to give a like, subscribe to my channel and enable notifications. You can also find me through my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.